Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Elle and I do ethical fashion content. I am currently in a beautiful reservoir park in Montana. I live like 30 minutes away from it and I decided to come outside and just film and enjoy nature. It's kind of crazy how this is literally in my backyard. And I'm really excited for this video. I've been thinking a lot about my Mexican culture and my love for ethical fashion and my activism in so fashion. And I started thinking about embroidery as something that was such a beautiful thing in my childhood. It was passed down and it's remained with me and it's shaped so much of my sense of fashion and self. And so in today's video, I'm going to explore how embroidery is a spiritual path and how it's deeply connected to your sense of culture and identity. And so you'll be seeing little clips of Montana and of the mountains, which are super relevant to my own spiritual journey and my own way of seeing something else besides just materiality and what is now, which is really important for spiritual growth. But sometimes you just get stuck in thinking, oh, a rock is just a rock, or a mountain is just a mountain. But for me, nature has always been a way to connect spiritually with the world. And so I invite you into this video and hopefully you resonate. And if you did, feel free to subscribe and put on your notifications and comment down below what you thought. I would love to know. So enjoy the video. Embroidery, or bordado in Spanish, is more than just a decorative craft in Mexico. It's a deeply spiritual act that has been cherished for centuries. It can be a way to connect to the self in the midst of the noise we often find ourselves in. It also allows us to connect with our ancestors by learning and applying cultural and traditional skills they used to practice. And I think practicing embroidery speaks to the way my Mexican culture aligns with ethical fashion. I would even claim to say that Mexicans are often natural ethical fashionistas, as they have the tendency to reuse, reduce, and recycle clothing in many different ways, for both out of necessity and choice. And honestly, the rich tradition of embroidery plays a significant role in that. And I want to get into that. So in Mexican culture, embroidery and las camisas on shirts can be a way to showcase your respect for craftsmanship, cultural heritage, and sustainable practices. This intricate art form has been passed down through generations, each stitch carrying a piece of their history and identity. I remember when my mom first taught me when I was a child, recalling how her mother and her teachers, now long since dead, passed on these skills to her and the knowledge needed to embroider. It was a little crazy to me that this old knowledge, as I repeatedly messed up my stitches at every turn, was something that kept living on and on through people. And I ended up just spending hours learning the craft, almost to a point of an obsession. I just couldn't help but be fascinated that with just some time and a little design, a little planning, so much beauty and art could arise from my hands. The vibrant colors, the intricate patterns, and symbolic designs on these shirts also had the ability to tell stories of our community, our beliefs, and unique individuality. Adorning clothing with my art and then wearing it felt so special, making fashion be more than what I saw in magazines and on TV. It felt alive, a piece of me, on me. And embroidery, whether for me or for Mexico or elsewhere, goes beyond just enhancing aesthetics. It's also a way of upcycling clothing, a concept at the heart of ethical fashion. Instead of discarding old shirts, we can skillfully transform clothing into stunning pieces that are essentially wearable art, extending their lifespan and reducing the demand for fast fashion. The art of embroidery is also a collective effort where we can connect and unite over a hand-based movement. that touches on our power to create and the ability to create it, our lives and what we have in it. Artists, artisans, and the people like you and me are able to unite over this craft that speaks of the tapestry of cultural diversity we have the ability to manifest and create. But what makes embroidery a spiritual act for Mexicans? It's maybe the profound connection we have to our cultural heritage, the intention behind each stitch, and the mindfulness of cherishing what we create. I really think that with every intentionally handmade, embroidered shirt or piece of clothing, you're not just wearing clothing, you're wearing identity, traditions, and craftsmanship. It speaks to the deep beauty that can be found in our lives, touching on internal beauty we can find in our souls. And the soul is a labyrinth of colors and movement, and different noises and energy, which we emulate with our hands and tools. Touching on ancestral skills we have, touches on the past that made us who we are and will continue to shape our reality. This continuous cycle of self is very much what makes us human and what speaks to our journey, whether you consider it spiritual or not, in our lives. And as I sit here, I cannot but pretend to tell you that maybe I do, and I don't have the answers to life. I have both answers and no answers, and I don't know everything. But what I do know is the soul and the spiritual journey we follow are all different. And what I do know for sure is that I'm very much alive and a living legacy of my ancestors and of this wonderfully confusing world. I have found a way to explore the wonders of my hands, of my internal worlds and energy movements, by weaving memories and knowledge into tapestries of meaning and art I can softly and lovingly adorn on my body. I will leave you with my words as we move with the echoes of our heart. And I thank you for joining me in this little conversation. It's a little view into my soul. If you enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and put on your notifications for more ethical fashion videos. Until next time, adios.